several times has made mention as we started the winter that they would like to find a veteran starting pitcher to maybe, stabilize this rotation that's full of youth. And I know you and I talked throughout the year, kind of what I feel is a mistake in just banking on their young players to all just continually get better from 2013 to 14 and kind of how they just banked on their rotation to improve because they were going to have a full season of Danny Salazar. Well, I think for those reasons they're looking for a veteran, and maybe one of those scenarios is, through one of those teams where they can move a Jose Ramirez for a veteran starting pitcher. And the Mets really have, 6 or maybe even 7 by the middle part of 2015. If you believe in their young guys, they may have 6 or 7 major league ready starting pitchers, and depending on salary and years of length, I think some guys to look at are maybe a John Neese or a Dylan G. And, from the Reds, they have 4 starting pitchers that are all going to be free agents at the end of 2015. And, right now they're tied to some potential rumors with the Red Sox, and that, maybe they would trade one of their starters for, a guy like Yoenis Cespedes. They need a power bat, the Reds do. And trade a guy who basically a guy in a walk year for another guy in a walk year. But if you're the Reds and, maybe that doesn't work out again as things go down the road, I don't know that this would be the Reds' first choice. But if things don't work out and you get to January or maybe the beginning of February, maybe a guy like Jose Ramirez who has 5 or 6 years of team control in front of him. And if you think he's a guy who can play every day, he becomes a guy that maybe they can put in at shortstop and help them win now and into the future. And maybe they're willing to trade one of those guys to the Indians on an opportunity for the Indians to be better in 2015 and the Reds to be better, maybe long term. So, I think those are the type of deals that are out there, and I don't think that the Indians could, or either team that they would be talking to would pull the trigger on those deals today. But they would possibly consider them, a month or 6 weeks or 2 months down the line after other ideas fall through. The Mets, they're looking for a shortstop, and I don't think they're content with someone like Jose Ramirez at this point. They're dreaming big, looking for guys like Starlin Castro. Well, if Starlin Castro falls through and that doesn't happen, they're still going to need a shortstop. Value changes as the winter goes on, and, everybody wants the prettiest girl in the beginning of the winter, and everybody settles for someone by the end of the winter, because spring training will start in February, whether you want it to or not.
Exactly. Your plans for the rest of the evening are completely different at 10 o'clock than they are at 2:30 as the bars close, and that's the best way to put
Absolutely.
that. You all of a sudden,
everybody has high hopes at 8 p.m.
Yes.
And everybody still needs somebody at 2 a.m.
Sometimes the night goes like you planned. Sometimes at 8 o'clock you're going, see that girl over there? She's going home with me tonight. She's the finest one in the bar. And sometimes it works out just well. And sometimes at 2:30 you're going, man, there's 3 people left. That one looks all right in the lights. That one looks better in the dark. Hey, what are you up to? Hey, why are you here all by yourself? And, the night goes the way it goes, man. So that's where... Hey, I wanted to mention a name to you yesterday that started the whole bacon cookies thing here on the show behind the scenes. But somebody hit us up and recommended some different names. Chad Billingsley's the one that came up. And not that I'm big on necessarily that name, but it fit everything that made sense about what the Indians do and how they try to do it. And I was curious your thoughts on that, but he fits a guy that had a long history of decent success, got banged up, has been out for a couple of years, rehabbed last year. I thought he reminds me a lot of a Scotty Kazmir type situation where you got a guy that'll come in relatively non-guaranteed probably and looking to have a bounce back like Kazmir did that year to get himself back into the game. And I think, man, you might as well just stamp Indians type of prospect on that kind of a signing.
Yeah, no kidding. And, to even go a step farther, I'm sure, to answer your question, I'm sure it all has to do with the medicals. And I think, something that I think would be interesting someday is to you would never get the truth from them, but if you could get the truth from, some Indians doctors or just any doctors of pro sports teams and what they specifically look for in guys who have had, medical problems, and, what do you look for in a guy who could potentially bounce back versus a guy who, maybe won't.
Right.
But yeah, I think Billingsley, if the medicals check out, is a great, Indians-esque type of, rehab situation, kind of the like you said, Scott Kazmir or Sean Markham, route, and you see what
Markham,
you can get out of them. And, I'll go one farther to fan the flames. Chad Billingsley is an Ohio guy from Defiance, and he has family in the area here. And if you're taking a non-guaranteed deal to rebuild your career, why not do it close to home? So that's something to keep an eye on. I saw Chad Billingsley pitch when he was 16 and 17 years old at Defiance High School, and there's probably been 3 guys that I've seen play in high school in the state of Ohio that I've pointed to and said, that guy's going to be in the big leagues someday. And he was one of them because, there are games, in high school when you talk about the haves and the have-nots, but when a guy picks up a baseball, all of a sudden 60 feet, 6 inches looks so much closer when they start to let go of it. And that's what he was like when he was a kid, man.
Yeah, and then we brought that up yesterday, the hometown, the Defiance and all of that, and that all kind of tied into that thing there too, man. And as I said, I could just see, you brought up Markham. I wanted to mention him too. That's one that's already in the Indians' plan as he's going to come back here and once again try to pick up where they left off with him last year and see if he also could perhaps be that type of guy. But I just wanted to ask you your thoughts there on Billingsley, and I could see where there's smoke, there's fire. And when you got everybody likes to come on home. So, if we got to have Brohio, then let's bring him in too. I'm just kidding. I got to be careful with that, man, because
it's like I said last week, coming home. It's a trend that it's a good marketing scheme, if nothing else. I mean, it seems to work.
It sells the tickets. There we go. We can get Skylar Gray to come out for opening day, and she can sing "I'm Coming Home" as Chad Billingsley comes in and joins Nick Swisher as they trot out onto the field, arm in arm. Man, it'll be great. See if LeBron can throw out the opening pitch, and if Victor's got the day off, he can stop by and say hi, just because he can go, well, I couldn't actually come home, but I felt like stopping by.
He'll be in the other dugout opening day. They play the Tigers.
Oh,
so
there we go. There you go. Perfect. See, I didn't even realize. I am not even hardly looking ahead at the schedule next year. I don't have the slightest clue any of that. So there you go. Victor's already home. That's why he signed with the Tigers. Now it all makes sense. He was fired up to come home, and then the Tigers said, listen, Victor, I don't know if this makes a difference or not. They slid a pocket schedule in front of him, and he went, oh, I can go home anyway? All right, cool, man. I'll sign this contract with you guys then.
Yeah, when they slid that pocket schedule to him, there was $68 million underneath it.
Well, that's what I was going to say. The check underneath it made him go, oh, I can get this and this? All right, guys, where do I sign on this thing? So, anyways, we'll talk more about that. Mike, always fun time having you here doing the Tribe thing, and I'm sure they'll give us a few more things to talk about, or not, I don't know, over the next couple of months. But either way, we're going to have some fun with it. You guys obviously got some stuff cooking, doing the 1920s articles. What else you got cooking this week on didthetribewinlastnight.com?
Yeah, right now, kind of my weekly Monday column, what I'm doing, kind of starting this week with the Jose Ramirez piece is, kind of a look at some of the Indians players. I think we'll start with the ones that maybe have, I would say, have value or would catch another team's eye, and where they might fit with another team in some trade possibilities. We did Jose Ramirez this week. I'll look at a guy like Lonnie Chisenhall this week, and we'll entertain some others over the next month, and hopefully they won't all be traded before I get to them.
There we go, and we'll talk some more about that and your latest articles next week. Mike, you and your family, enjoy your Thanksgiving, enjoy the holiday weekend, and I look forward to catching up and talking some Tribe next week.
Hey, you too. Thanks for having me, as always.
As always, thanks for being here. My man, Mike Brandenberry from DidTheTribeWinLastNight.com. Make sure you check him out. Bookmark it today. If you're an Indians fan, it's a must bookmark. DidTheTribeWinLastNight.com. We're going to take a break. When we come back, final segment coming your way. We're going to set the stage for Friday when we come back live. We'll talk a little Cavs hoops when we come back. You know what? Devon Stills. You guys know we talked about the story with him. From the Bengals, of course, his daughter. We talked about it not just earlier in the season, but there was a lot of the situation highlighted as they presented the jersey and the check at the Browns. Anyways, a backside to this story that makes you go, I don't know. I feel like Arsenio Hall. What was that he used to say? Things that make you go, But seriously, all joking aside, not necessarily the best side to this story. I don't know. We'll talk about it when we come back. We'll talk about that. Devon Stills and the Bengals, little switch to the narrative a bit here from what it's been. It's been a pretty heartwarming story, but this one may put a little bit of chill on the heartwarming part of it. We'll talk about that. We'll talk about the Vikings as Cleveland State prepares for a challenge tonight. Is the least way to set it up, is they're going to take on Louisville, a team that dismantled Savannah State. Less than 30 points they let that team score the other night. We're going to talk about that when we come back, and so much more. Don't go anywhere. Sports Fix still rolling, still coming back next after this.
Beginning. It's the hits, the homers, the double plays. It's how you feel when we win. So catch Indian fever, be a believer with the Cleveland Indians.
The Sports Fix.
A shadowy flight into the dangerous world of a man who does not exist.
The Sports Fix.
A young loner on a crusade to champion the cause of the innocent, the helpless, the powerless, in a world of criminals who operate above the law.
The fix is in. The Sports Fix. We'll be right back.
Hey guys, before we go to the break, I want to talk to you a little bit again about our good friends at Harry Buffalo North Olmsted, the UFC, the Ultimate Fighting Championships, some of the hottest fights in the world today. Each and every one of their huge events, Harry Buffalo is one of the few places in Northeast Ohio you can go there and watch each and every UFC fight at the Harry Buffalo. And let me tell you, I've been there. The people are out the door. They are to the rafters. It is one of the craziest environments for some UFC fights. Wing Mondays, they've got great deals on wings and drinks, and every day of the week there's a different special, a different deal. And don't forget the Bison Burger, the unbelievable. It is the combination of a fantastic burger and eating healthy combined into one unbelievable sandwich. You have got to get a Bison Burger while you're there. So whatever you're looking for, whatever day of the week, Monday through Friday, Saturday, Sundays, there's something for you at the Harry Buffalo North Olmsted, just outside Great Northern Mall. Check them out today. Harry Buffalo, join the herd.
The Sports Fix is now available every day on the world's largest internet radio service, iHeartRadio. Download the free iHeartRadio app, subscribe to the show, and get your fix. Fantasy sports lovers, you put so much time, hard work, and effort into playing week to week that it quickly stops being a fantasy and starts getting real. And when the smoke clears, you want to show off those victories with a real prize. I mean, a really real prize. Nobody does that like Fantasy Jocks. The crew over at Fantasy Jocks have beautiful, high-quality, and heavy-duty championship belts, rings, trophies, and so much more for all your fantasy sports needs. There's literally only one place to go. FantasyJocks.com.
Timeout! Okay, guys, Summers really had his bell rung and could have a concussion. I'm pulling him out for the game. Rodriguez, you're in for Summers.
Come on, Coach. It's just a ding. I'll shake it off.
Yeah, he's tough. Plus, we need to win this to make the playoffs.
Listen, we're a team and we need to look out for each other. Concussions are serious. No game is more important than your health.
Take concussions out of play. If you're a coach, know the warning signs and never let athletes return to play before a healthcare professional says it's okay. A message from CDC.
Hi, this is Patrick Borlow from Cleveland Lake Erie Monsters, and you're listening to The Sport Fix.
Let's